that was scary. And what unsettles me the most is seeing all the cars and the trucks zipping by on that bridge as the freighter is getting close to the the bridge. And I don't think anybody on the bridge could have seen that coming, or even if they saw it, what are they going to do? They're in the middle of a busy bridge, and it's not like they can just turn around and drive back. Like it's just so. I've never really been to Baltimore. Not in my. I don't remember being to Baltimore. I'm pretty sure I've never been to Baltimore. I've been to Maryland briefly. Still don't remember it. So, and I'm gonna admit something. I didn't even know it was called the Francis Scott Keys Bridge until this morning. So, yeah, I think it's great that we have so many different angles of this, because there's not going to be any ambiguity about the events as they happened. But already in a lot of these videos on TikTok, we already see in the comment section, "Oh, is the government behind this?" That was an actual comment in one of those videos. And I just wish people would have enough common decency to wait about 48 hours before peddling conspiracy theories. I just feel like it's like how there's a joke, it's like how there's a rule about the amount of time from a tragedy before you can make a joke. I think conspiracy theories should fall in that same rule. I have to fight an urge sometimes to make a really callous statement, or a statement that is really thoughtless and cruel. And in some ways, conspiracy theories are no different than making an inappropriate joke at an inappropriate time. I mean, it's not even laugh at a funeral level. It's just absolutely inappropriate. I'll give you an example. Okay, when my grandmother passed away, one of my grandmothers passed away. Um, her son, my brother's father, asked my mother to pick out some underwear to bury the corpse with, to bury my grandmother's body with. And my mom said, well, if she was worried about underwear, she should have kept it on long ago. And it was a plug at the fact that my grandmother was quite loose. And we're not judging her here. I'm just saying that, yes, she was promiscuous, but she had just died. It was still an inappropriate thing for my mother to say. It wasn't funny, and it wasn't tactful. And she was not apologetic about saying this to the man whose mother just passed away. And in my mind, that is no different than trying to hatch a conspiracy theory within moments of a terrible thing happening. It's what is the thought process behind that? I don't get it, you know. And I'm not saying it's never appropriate to joke about something. Gallows humor does exist, but this close to the event, you share those thoughts with people you know, who know you well, over a beer, over coffee. You don't go spouting them online, because that contributes to the misinformation that leads to people getting wrongfully prosecuted. Like that guy who was falsely accused of the Boston Marathon bombings because somebody saw a picture of him, and the misinformation spread like wildfire, and that poor man ended up unaliving himself because he was harassed. It wasn't him. They found the real guys not too long after that. But again, people are just so quick to jump on the first thing that confirms their bias. And anyway, I can't imagine like I can't imagine, like, there must have been a ton of phone calls and a ton of text messages going out looking for loved ones who might or might not have been on that bridge. And I just this is such a cliche thing to say by now, but my thoughts really go out to anybody who is waiting to hear from a loved one. Um, and I don't know what happened. I don't know all the details. I know that freighter was obviously not supposed to be under that bridge, so I don't know if it was the person operating the boat who had anything to do with it. I don't know if it was a computer error. I'm sure more information will come to light, but I just wish people would be a tiny bit respectful to the victims of that terrible incident. All right, and I'm gonna change the topic now. I don't want anybody to think that I'm using this to get views. I'm just talking about a thing that happened. I'm reacting to it. Um, but there's nothing more I can say. And so now we're moving on to. I'm going to be getting a new phone soon. I actually just went through that, added a line to my husband's plan, and I'm going to get a really nice phone that's going to have a lot of memory. It's going to be a nice upgrade to this one, and I'm going to be able to do more with it. And what else? What else? What else? What else? Um, I just had to go with Michael to urgent care. Something was wrong with his finger. He slammed it in a door, or he caught it in a door at work. So we had to go to urgent care. And it's fine. He's going to get something to put on it, but it's still a little unnerving having to wait for a loved one in the hospital, even if it's urgent care, even if it's something that can be taken care of in under an hour. There's always a bit of worry. There's always a bit of, and especially because you never know if you're going to go there on a day when somebody really wants to milk every penny out of your insurance. It's a huge part of why I do not like going to the emergency room. But while I was there was a television playing, a loop of, those messages like those: eat healthy, drink healthy, eat this if you want to poop, eat this if you don't want to poop. Um, and of course, they're going through there's a little segment about heart health and what can lead to a stroke. And now I'm not shy. I could have a stroke at any moment, but I don't want to have a heart attack or anything related to a heart attack. And today, I feel like it's sometimes a series of things happen that I feel are so coincidental that there has to be something pulling the strings. I don't know what. But this morning I had a whole ton of slab bacon, which one or two slices is probably okay, but the amount I ate is not good for anybody. And I have been having some shortness of breath. I have been experiencing, I mean, I'm not the healthiest person on earth, um, but I do know I have to get my health under control, and I really need to start making strides towards that. And I've got to stop just saying I need to do it, and I have to actually buckle down. It's hard though because there's a lot of outside stimulus that makes me want to eat. Sometimes it's not even, I can't even blame it on an outside force. Sometimes I just see a thing I want and I'm like, "Oh, I can eat that today." And that's how easy it is. I do stress eat, but I also make very poor impulse choices. And sometimes I can go a week eating nothing but fruit and veggies, but then on day 5 or day 6 or day 7, I want to eat something not so healthy. And I'm not really at the stage where, I mean, I've been having cheat months, cheat years. I I can't commit to a diet. I have a hard time doing that. Um, Also, I found Skyrim at my local gaming shop. So score one for small businesses. I got it pretty. I got pretty dirt cheap. It was a used copy, but I got it for my Switch. So, and considering, speaking of coincidences, considering the Switch originally, I was going to get a Switch for the purposes of playing Skyrim. I feel like this has, some kind of gift from the gods, as it were, or some gift from whatever. I mean, like a positive thing to happen in spite of all the stuff going on. I don't know. So yeah, there we go. I am clean shaven. Sorry for the abrupt change in tone. I just didn't want to linger too much on the bridge. Um, but as I said, I really do feel for the. I don't know what else to say that won't sound superficial or useless, but If you are watching this and you have a loved one and you're waiting, if you have a loved one that might have been on that bridge and you were waiting, I'm hoping along with you. I don't want to say something cheap and meaningless like thoughts and prayers, because we know how those two words have been transformed. But if you think you know something but you don't know everything, keep that to yourself, or keep it between you and your little circle of friends, but don't go blasting it on the internet until you know all the details. That's all I'm going to ask people to do. It's not restricting your freedom of speech. It's asking you to exercise your freedom of responsibility. Anyway, please feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, share this on your social media or with a friend. And as always, treat each other with dignity and respect.